Hello yogis, my name is Lauren, this is Mary, and we're going to guide you through about a 15-minute practice of yoga for helping with bone density. Let's come onto our mats. You might need a block or a strap with you, and we'll begin. So you're going to roll down onto your mat slowly and carefully, and we're going to be starting in Shavasana or corpse pose as we lie onto our back, guiding ourselves through our Ujjayi breath in through the nose, pressing our lips together to exhale, and kind of making the sound of an ocean wave to calming the body, bringing us into that grounded feeling onto our mats. Hands can face up to receive or can flip over to feel more grounded into the mat. And you're going to want your feet extended to the outer edges, the outer corners, all the way down. Just relaxing here, breathing in, calming ourselves down. After about 15 to 20 seconds, we're going to take that strap, start with our right leg first, and bringing our right leg in towards our chest, maybe massaging the hip joint a little bit, and then with our right hand, bringing that leg in towards our body. So stretching through our hamstring, soft bend in the knee so that we're not overextending or putting too much pressure on the knee joint. Every time you exhale, see if you can maybe even bring it a little bit deeper or feel a little bit more of a stretch through the backside of that leg. You can flex the foot or point it at your convenience, but you'll feel more of that stretch with the foot flexed. From there, we'll open up to our right side, bringing our left arm over so that we can try and keep our hips both grounded down into our space, or you can rest that left hand on your left hip. You don't need to bring your foot all the way to the ground, but keeping a little bit of space there until it feels comfortable, but making sure that left hip is staying grounded. Holding it with the right hand. After 6 breaths, bringing it over, bring that knee into the chest, extend, and then we'll move over to the left side. Again, hugging that left leg in, maybe a little massage through the hip socket, using that strap right to the base of the foot line, and breathing here. Soft bend at the knee, and just feeling that nice deep stretch through the back of the leg, continuing with our Ujjayi breath in through the nose, out, exhaling through the mouth with our lips closed together, that ocean sounding breath. After about 6 breaths, or about 15 to 20 seconds, we'll take that right arm, extending it out, and bring that left leg over. You might notice one side is a little different than the other. Maybe you can go a little deeper on one side than the other, and just know that that's okay. Again, just being mindful that we don't want to fall all the way down, letting our leg go, but just finding where it's comfortable without overextending that positioning. Again, keeping the knee slightly soft here. And as you extend that leg out, you want to hold that strap in the same hand so that your arm is not crossing over the body. Inhale to bring it back up. Exhale, hug the knee in, extend out, or bring the knees in towards the chest. Maybe giving your lower back a bit of a massage, a nice little hug, and squeeze as you move back into that positioning. From here, we extend both arms out, across from the right to the left, and we'll just go into a small twist. So we want to keep those knees in, as Mary is demonstrating. First, twisting over to the right. And we're twisting from the core, so being mindful of the lower back. You should feel the stretch through the side body, maybe through the hips a little bit as well, and also through the chest if you have your arms extended. After those 6 breaths or 15 seconds, we'll take it over to the left side. Again, always starting with the right side as we move. And you might even think about looking in the opposite direction from where you twist, noticing that you'll have a bit more of a deeper stretch if you decide to do so. Once you finish this positioning here, you'll come back into that midline, making sure you do 6 breaths or 15 seconds on both sides. Again, staying with that Ujjayi breath, and then floating back in through that midline. Another hug, another squeeze if that feels good, and then bringing our feet firmly press them into the mat. We're going to go into a bridge pose from here, so using our hands for support. You can always take a block and bring it underneath the hips if it feels good, or the small of the back. and squeezing the glutes at the top of this position. So making sure that we're not dropping our hips down, but really pushing up. Chest stays open as well, and using those hands for support. Engage those glute muscles, continue with the breath. If you notice they start to drop, you might need to lift them up a little bit higher, or you can always reach for that block after a few breaths if you find you need more support. A small hug, and then we'll flip it over, and we'll go into locust pose. Nose, forehead faces down. Breathing in, we inhale, we lift up, palms face the ceiling. We're working into our lower back, but we still look down at that mat so that we're not lifting our chin or putting more stress on the neck here. Engaging all the way through the body. This might be a little bit more of a challenging pose, but just 6 breaths here, about 15 to 20 seconds. We lift up and then we lower back down. From here, slowly, carefully shift back into that child's pose. A little bit of a nice stretch back. You can keep your toes together, knees splayed out to the corners of the mat. And then we'll come flipping back over into a straight leg spinal twist. We're going to grab that knee in, starting again with the right side, raising that left arm up. Inhale, we twist over, elbow comes towards that right knee, and you can look over to that right side, or even as you exhale, maybe even twisting a little deeper, looking over that back right shoulder. Again, don't put too much strain or pressure on your body if it doesn't feel comfortable. Just know your limits. Again, one side might be a little different than the other side, and you can always adjust as you move from your right to your left. Once you finish that right side, you'll extend that leg out, bring the left leg in, inhale to lift that right arm up, and twist over towards your left side. Be mindful of the knee joints and the elbow joints, finding that comfort spot as you come over into that twist. Relaxing the shoulders at the top, not carrying too much tension into the neck as well. And always returning to the breath if you find that you tend to do so. From there, we'll move up into a standing position, coming into tree pose. Grounding through the feet, arms can come out stretched, and you might even want to come to a wall if you need some extra support. If you do, make sure that wall is in front of you. Bringing our hands into heart center, grounding through that left foot, we'll begin by lifting the right leg. You can place that right foot just against the calf if it feels more comfortable there, like a kickstand. And you can keep your hands in prayer, or you can grow your branches up, reaching through the fingertips like a tree. Take a few breaths here. Hips stay square to the front of the room. Find that breath. And then as you come out of it, slowly lower the hands and the right foot. Maybe shake things out a little bit before you move into that other side. Rolling through the body, shaking the knees or the feet. Then coming back into that mountain pose. Ground through that right side. And we'll do the left leg. Inhale, bring the hands to heart center. Bring the left foot up. You can either go back to that kickstand, or another option is coming into tree pose, lifting the leg a little higher. You'll know your body better than we will, so find a place that is comfortable for you. You can do the same pose on either side, or you can choose to mix it up a little bit if one side feels a bit more comfortable or confident than the other. Being mindful of joints as you do those positionings, and then exhale, bring our feet down, shake things out from there. Coming down onto our mat, we'll move into Warrior Two. So that right foot will face towards the front of the mat, that left foot parallel so that the right heel comes in line with the midline of that left foot. Bend at that right knee. Knee should be in line with the ankle. We push forward, gazing over that middle finger as we do so. Again, 15 seconds, 20 seconds here, finding that breath. Breathing carefully. And then bringing that right leg down to meet that right quad, we lift up into that side angle position. Option to look up towards your hand if that's comfortable for you, or just keep the neck relaxed. We just don't want that head to fall all the way down, so we do want to keep a straight line through the spine as we move into that position. Back into Warrior Two, resetting that position, and then we're going to bring that right leg back, reach forward, and then tilt down, moving into triangle position. Being mindful we're not putting too much weight on that leading leg. We don't want to fall into the position, but we're still lifting up from here. You do have the option to use blocks if you want that support on either side to rest your hand as you reach up. And again, mindful that the hips aren't pushing too far back or too far forward. From here, we're going to go into a twisted triangle. So here you may really want the block because that's going to give a little bit of support, especially if your hips are a bit tighter. Placing it under that left hand, and we're going to twist over to the right side. These twists are really, really good for our bodies, bringing out the toxins and also creating strong bones, which is why we have a lot of them in this series. After going through a few breaths here, we're going to just move over to the other side. Our left foot faces towards the front of the room. Back right foot is parallel, midline in line with the heel, knee in line with the ankle. We reach and look through that second middle finger, gaze falling forward or finding that drishti, that focus point. And then we'll move into that side angle, carefully resting that left arm onto that left quad, but not falling down, not dropping the neck. We still create that straight line through the spine, reaching up and lifting through that right side of the body. From here, we go back into Warrior Two, and then we begin to move that leg back, keeping a soft bend in the knee, reaching forward with the fingertips, and then falling down into that triangle position. Again, option for the block here if you need a little bit more support. And you can always rest that hand on the shin, but you can also bring it up to the quad if that's more comfortable, more leverage for you, just not falling into the body. After a few breaths, we go for that block if you want that option, placing that hand softly, not falling into that position, going for that twist, reaching up with the fingertips, being mindful where we hold the neck. Again, not letting the head drop, but just looking at a drishti or focus point over as we twist into that left side. Carefully pulling down, exhaling on the way down. Coming into the middle, slowly rising up to finish. In mountain pose, bringing our hands down, maybe going through a few more breathing practices to finish things off, finding that groundedness and thanking yourself for the practice. Thank you for joining us today, Mary and Lauren. The light in us sees, shines, and honors the light in all of you. Namaste.